Welcome back, Freshwater Fishing Novices, new viewers. This is the Freshwater Fishing Novice YouTube channel. It's Freshwater Fishing Novice Friday. My name is Molez, and I'm the Freshwater Fishing Novice. Today we're talking about fishing in July. Let's get right into. Are we going to get right into it? Well, let's do a little bit of other stuff first. First, I want to talk about some stuff that happened this week. I don't know, it was awesome. I was talking to the guy who prints my shirts, and he was talking about fishing, and it turns out his son is a stick. He hooked like a 10-pound bass, and that doesn't happen very often where I am. And then he told me where it was. So of course, like a total jerk, I went there the next day. It was blown out. It was 10 to 15, 10 to 18 mile an hour winds. It's a huge reservoir. So I'm pedaling out, going to check out where this pro tip came from about the 10-pound bass, and it was so windy it was unbelievable. Then I ran into two ladies, women really. They're not, not girls, full-grown adult women. This one woman's pedaling up to me, I'm pedaling towards her direction. She's like, "Do I know you?" She thought I was one of the people that are in the local kayak bass fishing tournaments, because I was in a pedal kayak and I had like 6 rods, so it kind of looked like I knew what I was doing. Very nice lady. Her name's Judy Richardson. Get to talking to her, and she's telling me about how she's been doing kayak bass fishing tournaments for the last 6 years, doing all these tournaments, KBF, all the local ones around me. And I'm like, holy moly. And her backstory is incredible about how, I was like, well, what do you do for work where you can do that? And she went from a full-time position to a per diem position as a nurse. And I was like, I didn't even know that was an option, because I know I can't do per diem as a customer service representative. I'll just come in on Tuesdays. It's not a thing. So her backstory is amazing. I can't believe she doesn't have a YouTube talking about it. And what she told me was so interesting. It's so much better than this video right here. Now, if you guys want to hear this story about Judy Richardson's fishing career, her backstory and all that, maybe I can get her, maybe we can do a video chat or something like that if you guys are interested in hearing her knowledge, her advice. It was just talking to her for 10 minutes was amazing. And then she said, well, if you think I'm amazing, you should check out this chick. And I turn around, and here comes another woman. I thought Judy's setup was amazing. And then I look over, and I see this woman named Kate. She has a YouTube. Her name is Kate Fishing. Now, this woman leveled up on Judy. So I looked, huge monitor, depth finder. She had a chesty on. She had 2 different cameras, Hobie kayak, stickers all over it. Kate Fishing for YouTube. I'm going to put a link in that description too if you want to check her out. Her backstory was even more interesting. And I was like, Jesus. So she said, oh yeah, I have a YouTube. And I'm like, of course I told her I did, and it doesn't even compare. Talking to these 2 women was amazing. These 2, I'd say semi-pro and pro kayak bass fishing anglers. Kate's sponsored by Hobie. I believe Judy is too. I'm not 100% on that. I bugged off and I went down and I left them alone so they could do whatever they wanted to do. And as I'm coming back by them, Kate goes, "Hey Molez, have you catch anything? Any luck?" "No." And she's like, "Oh, very nice." "Oh." And I said, "Yeah, well, I wasn't catching anything, so I just watched like 3 of your videos." And she liked that. Obviously very impressed by these 2 women. So as I'm paddling away from them before after I talked to them initially, and then I'm paddling down, I met 2 other guys. Younger dudes. Probably I'd say 19, 20, somewhere in that range. And that was Robert and Brandon. And Brandon has subscribed to my channel. These 2 dudes were cool as ice. That movie sucked. These guys were as cool as the other side of the pillow. Chilled for like 20 minutes, talked BS, talked about gear, fishing, everything else. And Robert said he put out some TikTok videos and got like 3.2 million views or something. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Do YouTube. And Brandon was like, yeah, I've been trying to tell him. I'm like, probably listen to your buddy, dude. Anyway, I was just really impressed by the anglers I've met in the last week, only in one fishing trip. So maybe you get skunked when you go fishing, but the opportunity to meet some very cool people is always out there. And if they are serious about angling or moderately interested in it, if they've got bit by the fishing bug, it's going to be a good conversation, because you're going to be talking about similar things. In a very short amount of time, I learned enough from Kate Fishing on YouTube, that I was like, dude, I didn't even know that was a thing. She was like, yeah, rig it like this. I was like, what? So it's always good to talk to other anglers. You can always learn something from someone. And even just a good conversation. Don't be afraid to talk to people on the water. If they seem standoffish, leave them alone. If they seem friendly and hey, how you doing? you might as well engage if you feel like having a conversation. We're all in the same sport together. We're all trying to catch fish. You guys were really cool, man. You guys made my day. So thanks a lot. So now I just wanted to talk about a problem that I've been having, say in the last month or so, maybe 3 weeks. I've been noticing really high winds right in the middle of the day. 10, 15 mile an hour winds. I'm like, how do I even deal with this? Maybe I can just go out. I got an anchor. If the anchor holds me in place, it should be all right to fish, right? Well, I went out yesterday with my buddy C-Tone, and I might as well just have the video pop up right here. Here's me trying to pedal into the wind. And the wind is currently going 16 mile an hour in this video. Not the most pleasant. And if I was like paddling, it would be even worse. And unfortunately, my buddy C-Tone was paddling. I don't suggest anything over 12 mile an hour winds is probably unmanageable if you're paddling. It's not pleasant. It doesn't feel safe at all, for sure. Wind has been an issue lately. How have I gotten around working around the wind to catch fish in July when it's really hot? I hope you guys had a good 4th of July. What do I do to avoid the heat? Right now I'm making a video. I'm not fishing. It's noon, 1 o'clock. So if I am out on the water and I'm fishing and it's windy, in these conditions, the first thing I'm going to look for is like a cove that's protected. So whatever the wind direction is, if it's coming into my face, no. If I'm facing the wind, if I'm headed into the wind, I'm going to try to find a cove that has a bank that's protected and it looks like slack water. And that's where I'm going to fish. Because otherwise you're just going to get blown around the water body a little bit too much and you won't be able to fish and concentrate on what you're trying to do. Not ideal, but I mean, that's what you have to do. If you try to find coves or creek arms that you can go up, or just anything that's protected from the wind is what I'm going to look for. It's not fun. It's like busy work in school. It's like work gets slow, clean that item. Let's make a sports analogy. Sitting on the bench or being in the game. It's like sitting on the bench while everyone else is in the game. How do you really get in the game? Let's talk about getting in the game. If you're on a pond or a lake and it's windy, you could always try throwing a windy lure. A chatterbait or a spinnerbait. Now, if you didn't want to throw those, or you don't want to deal with the wind, let's talk about what you can do during the day when it's windy to get the heck out of the wind and hopefully go catch some fish. Well, you can always go to the river. So me and my buddy C-Tone and other anglers I know, oh, it's super windy on the pond or the lake. Let's go hit a creek. Let's go hit a river. And you go hit some kind of current that has slack water. And that's exactly what me and my buddy C-Tone did yesterday. I caught a smallmouth. Probably the biggest smallmouth in this little area. Whatever. I went to a river with C-Tone and I fished. I don't even know how long that footage is. It's probably 10 or 15 minutes and I finally caught that smallmouth bass. Changed out my lures a bunch, kept at it. He was real finicky. Like, it took a while to catch him. Here's a picture of that smallmouth bass. We'll check out the video of the release right here. You can see how that fish is just glaring right at me. I guess at the end, I'll show you the full catch. Then after I left that area, I drove all the way back home. And that was about an hour drive, and I decided to hit my local pond. And now we're gonna get into the tip. When you should fish when it's wicked hot in June and July. If I'm not going to go to a river or a creek, or I'm not gonna go fish in those windy conditions, I'm gonna focus on fishing very, very early or very, very late. I'm talking about on the water at 4 a.m. If sunrise is at 4:30, 4 a.m. I'm on the water. I'm talking really crazy early. And then late, say early is not your jam, you have work, kids, all that stuff. Maybe you can go out late after work. Sundown's at 8:30, completely dark at 9. That window seems to be pretty magic. So in these early conditions, early and late conditions, here's what's been working for me. I'm out there, you'll be sitting in the water, completely glassy, no wind. I don't know why this happens, where it's windy during the day and then calm at night. But there's this weird calm period, dusk and dawn, and it's just glassy usually. That's when I get all these bites. You'll have fish swirling and busting on top of the water. Wherever they're busting is where you want to focus. I'm just going to put a video of fish swirling on the water so you guys can see what it looks like. A fish swirls on the water. What you want to have on your rod is a extra wide gap hook, 1 to 3/0, and you want to have a soft plastic Senko, worm, stick bait, whatever that is. And as soon as you see that swirl, you toss your soft plastic directly as close as you can get it to the center of that swirl. And then don't do anything. Close the bail and wait. And you'll feel a tick and a tick. And then you lean in with your rod to give it more slack. And when you feel a lot of pressure, you set that thing like you are trying to punch through a wall. And you will get those fish. You'll notice swirl, 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 swirl. I mean, I don't know if you saw it in the video. Always cast to the swirls. All right, guys, girls, anglers. Hope you guys liked this video this week. I did get a comment that I want to talk about from Magnus something or other over here. I can't say that. I'm college educated, but I'm not that smart. I think it's Greek. Atheos? No, I'm not even going to try. Anyway, I got a comment from him saying about my last video about how to clean fish. He wrote, "Thanks, I've been waiting a while for that video." Now that's an issue. If you guys, my viewers, new subscribers, any viewers, want to see a certain video that you have a question about, you should leave that in the comment below so I can make a video about it. That's what this channel's about. So, Magnus, dude, come on, man. Why didn't you ask? Did you ask? I know a couple of people have asked. Magnus, thanks for leaving a comment. But dude, ask next time, man. Wanted to thank Judy Richardson. I wanted to also thank Kate's Fishing. Description and link below. Brandon and Robert. It was awesome meeting you guys. I really appreciate that interaction. I don't think I've ever had that many positive interactions on the water from so many people. Usually it's just very quiet. You went out of your way to be polite, cordial, human. It was nice because most people see a backwards wearing baseball hat, middle-aged guy, and they're like, I don't know what that guy's doing. The interaction was nice. I really appreciate having conversations with all four of you folks, people, anglers. Yeah, that's what I meant, anglers. Brandon, thanks for subscribing to my channel. Hope you're catching more fish, buddy. I hope that boat's fixed up. I know the problem, what we talked about. Hopefully that got solved so it's not taking on water. I'd really appreciate it if you liked this video, if you actually learned anything from this video or liked it. Last but not least, if you want to do something that's free, that helps me out, helps this channel grow, maybe you're viewing it for the first time and you're like, this guy's kind of entertaining and he's teaching me a little bit. You can always hit that subscribe button, make the bell turn from red to gray. Ooh. Whew. See that, dude? Thanks for watching my video. Hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll catch you next Friday.